LG makes a lot of OLED TVs, but the C series is usually the one to look out for. That's not because it's the one with the best performance or design, it's just the one with the best value. That was the case in 2017, and it's the same thing in 2018. I'm Sed from Trusted Reviews, and this is the LG C8 OLED. The LG C8 currently costs £2,800 for the 55-inch version and £3,500 for the 65-inch version. Now that puts it more or less in the same bracket as the other 2018 flagship TVs I've tested, such as the Sony AF8 and the Samsung Q9FN. Let's get straight into it. Their design. OLED TVs generally have the most minimalist designs because they're super thin. At its thinnest, this TV is only about 6 credit cards thin. The stand isn't particularly fancy, but it curves forwards. Basically, the TV pumps sound downwards and the stand channels it towards you. It's neat, but not quite as neat as Sony's AF8 and its acoustic surface technology. If the design is a little dull to you, then check out LG's other OLEDs for 2018. You've got the LG E8, which costs a little more, but comes with a glass stand. There's the LG G8, which comes with an integrated soundbar. And then the LG W8 pretends to be wallpaper. There's also an LG B8 in the range with slightly inferior specs to this. Talking of specs, this is a 10-bit OLED panel with a 4K Ultra HD resolution and a peak brightness of just over 800 nits. This is a new panel for 2018, but LG was quick to tell me the panel itself isn't responsible for any significant differences. Instead, it's all about the new Alpha 9 processor, which is better at handling color, sharpness, and noise reduction compared to last year's C7. Elsewhere, there are 4 HDMI ports, all of which are full bandwidth and support 4K at 60 frames per second. Software and control are just as important as any physical design, and LG has been leading in this department for years. The WebOS interface literally set the bar for TV menus with its pop-up system of customizable cards. Samsung uses a similar system, but LG still wins in terms of smoothness and responsiveness. Both are better than the messy and laggy Android TV favoured by Sony and Philips. A big part of WebOS's appeal is how it works with the remote. Now this thing doesn't look much, but it's lovely to use. You can press buttons as you do with a traditional remote, but there's also a scroll wheel, which is very good for skipping through menus quickly. There are also gyroscopes and accelerometers which control the on-screen pointer, and very often that's the quickest way to do anything. The Samsung remote is nicer and made of metal, but it's a lot less smart. So a big part of WebOS's appeal is how it works with the remote. The thing doesn't look much, but it's lovely to use. You can tap buttons like a traditional remote, or you can use the scroll wheel to skip through menus more quickly. There are also gyroscopes and accelerometers inside that control the on-screen pointer, which is often the quickest way to do anything. Now Samsung's remote is nice and made of metal, but it's not as smart and only does the clicky thing. On a personal note, the control scheme and operating system are the real reasons I would choose the LG C8 over the Sony AF8. There's also the issue of Dolby Vision. The LG comes with Dolby Vision out of the box, but at the time of testing, the Sony was still waiting for a firmware update. Now for picture quality. Last year, Sony beat LG pretty easily, but this time, LG is armed with the new Alpha 9 processor. And the picture pros and cons kind of even out. The LG is brighter for starters. It reaches over 800 nits, while the Sony reaches about 700 nits. So the LG is the one to go for if you want a more impactful HDR experience. It's bright enough now that it's really hard to say OLEDs are just meant for dark rooms. That being said, if you're going to be doing a lot of bright room viewing or daytime viewing, then I'd recommend checking out the Samsung Q9FN LCD TV, which easily reaches over 2000 nits. Of course, the Samsung isn't nearly as good at low-level lighting control, and this is where the LG easily takes Samsung. The C8 has a lot more detail in the above black areas where the Samsung struggles. Its local dimming is a little bit too aggressive and basically overwhelms shadow detail. For picture refinement, the LG loses out to the Sony AF8. Sony has a cleaner, more refined picture. There's better noise reduction and color gradation. Sony also wins on motion handling, both natively and with the additional motion processing mode. That being said, the LG wins on gaming very easily. It's got a low input lag of about 21 milliseconds, where on the Sony it can be anywhere between 30 and 45 milliseconds. I noticed over 2 weeks of gaming on each that I consistently died fewer times on the LG. Make sure you go into the menu and use the sound tuning setting. This is a weird sort of calibration mode that fires out test tones. They'll bounce around your room and get picked up by the microphone in the remote control. The TV then uses this information to adjust the tonal balance. It's subtle, but it worked pretty well for me, so be sure to check it out. While you're there, let's go through some picture settings. I'd recommend the standard mode for day use and the cinema home for night. Standard is more punchy, cinema home is more subtle. I have the true motion setting off, but if you want a little more extra processing, then manually nudge the de-judder and de-blur to about 3. By far the most important thing is to turn the dynamic tone mapping mode on, because without it the picture looks a little bit dull. So that's the LG C8 OLED. You've got an excellent picture that's finally bright enough to deal with OLED naysayers. You've got industry-leading software as well as a low latency game mode. For £3,000, you really can't go wrong. The only issue here is the competition. The Sony a-F8 is similarly priced, and while it's not as good at gaming, it's better at motion handling and overall picture refinement. Then there's the Samsung Q9 FN, which remains my choice for bright room viewing. So as ever, it's about how you use your TV. But what do you think? Do you use your TV just for movies, or do you want your TV to be more of an all-round performer? Let us know in the comments below, and for more videos like this, remember to click subscribe. That's all from me today. I'm Sed from Trusted Reviews, and thank you for watching.